50 practitioners and academics from 7 different countries gathered to develop their ideas for a more holistic approach to educating children and young people. This is ECL, a growing community exploring systemic and creative approaches in homes and schools to enhance emotional well-being, creativity, and learning.
Children can have the best teachers in the world, they can have the finest resources in the world, they can be in the finest buildings in the world, but unless we are in touch with their emotional well-being, then everything else really is meaningless.
Every child has a natural curiosity about the world, a natural desire to reach out, and it takes quite a lot of entangling difficulty for that to shut down. But in our world at the moment, it is shutting down. The lights are going out in the young people's world.
We want you to find a time in your life that was some kind of turning point. It may well have been an obstacle that you faced and have overcome. It may have some other form. Talk this through in your pair so that you can identify the story that you want to share, and you will be being asked in a particular process to share it in small groups, and your story will travel, okay?
So if we accept that whole school grief is healthy grief, it may be an individual grief, but whole school response to that grief is healthy. And that it's not actually just one person who's greeting you back and going to deal with you, but it's actually what was being said over here. It's actually the whole community is acknowledging. I may say it, but the whole community is acknowledging your return and acknowledging that you're different.
But for me, there's something about looking at those different orders, the place and exchange and belonging and time, and the sense of conscience around that, how they fit together, was something that I just wanted everybody to know. You know, there's something about once you know about that, then you have some agency perhaps to do something about it.
At the end of the day, she said, this day has transformed the way I look at every single child in my school, because I'm seeing what comes behind them and with them.
And it really got me thinking about the term healthy school, because a healthy school is actually a lot more than the sum total of lots and lots of healthy individuals. And that's really where the systemic idea comes in. We might individually all be incredibly healthy, but we might not be a very healthy group.
Some of these ideas are electrifyingly useful and new to parents.
The penny dropped after about 5 months, and then her relationship with her daughter changed completely, and with her little son changed. And she's a changed person.
For schools to move forwards as learning communities, peer mentoring is a hidden resource, because for older students to be giving support to the younger students is a fantastic resource to the whole community. That's the school.
In my 30 years of teaching, I know precisely what the outcome's going to be. I know exactly where things are going to end up, and I'm always very sure of what's coming. With this, I hadn't a clue. And you have to stand there, and you do have to be a bit brave, and you have to go into that unknown.
He said it was something about the difficulties that he had gone through and what he'd learnt from them. He was then able to pass that on to others. And it so took me to what we say about teachers, which is that they become teachers with a purpose of reparation. So even at that age, there is a kind of what I've learned and a passing of that on down the system. It's just incredibly moving.
It is really interesting that parents really love that. At the transition evening that we just had for parents, we say, these are the beads, this is what they mean, and after residential, we put all the beads together into one long string, which means that you belong. to this year group, to this school. And then I tell the parents to go and look at the beads, and they all really, no, they really go and look, because each person has their initials on it, and they know who they are. So it has a really good symbolic power. This is what you've got in your room. You know, you haven't just got a kid who's got a slightly grubby jeans on or trousers on, you know. They're actually, all of that is in that young person. The bits that you can't see, all of that is there too. And that's kind of a respect for the child, respect for the family system, respect for what might be that you don't know, respect for the unknown.
And the more serving place is the movement you have to make to a place where you serve the system, or where you serve working with children, or serve the team you're part on it.
So we set up the timeout room, and with my knowledge of systemic practices, I decided to just throw myself in at the deep end and do some mediation. It's restoring those relationships when they've broken down and moving it forward so that they're able to conduct a conversation, a dialogue, when things are going wrong.
I've wondered why we don't teach this more often, this subtle knowledge of our bodies to young people. And so this is what motivates me to start to work in this way, is a realization that as an adult, I'm given access to so much information of a more subtle, unprovable nature that I would have loved as a child. Would have really sparked my imagination and my curiosity, because precisely because there is an unknown and mysterious aspect of it.
This is where the youngsters gather on a daily basis to create a sense of community. My view is that actually an awful lot of youngsters are leaving our schools and without any sense of a positive experience of community to take into their adult lives. And this is where you learn that actually the community is a resource for the individual members of the community, and the individual members are a resource for the bigger community. This is actually where you talk about the difficult stuff and the celebratory stuff. This is where you perform as a school. This is where you celebrate.
I think at the heart of systemic coaching work is this practice of us being at the centre of ourselves. As Jane's talking about the embodied knowing, we have to have that place as well. When I'm working with a system, I'm trying to be far more grounded in myself and to allow the person to bring a story, to bring that story present, and to sit in such a way that I let the deeper dynamics of the system reveal themselves to both of us. Because my sense is usually that far more is occurring than one particular child's difficulty. So the child could be manifesting problems that are to do with the school infrastructure. They could be manifesting a lack of respect to the teachers in the school. They could be manifesting lack of respect amongst the senior leadership team, as well as all the issues from their own family. Yeah? So what is this person presenting as a dynamic, and how can we work with this in the best way for the whole?